It's been a little while since I've done one of these videos showing jars that I have thrifted, and I got a great deal yesterday on some jars that I wanted to share. I bought these pint-sized jars initially, and I think there were a few of the half-pint jars thrown in with the pint jars. I went to this estate sale specifically looking for jars. They had posted some pictures, and I could tell from the pictures it looked like mostly canning jars. You know, a lot of times at estate sales they sell jars, but they're not always canning jars. They had already sold all of the quart-sized jars, and all they had left were these regular mouth pint jars, the 8-ounce jelly jars, some squat 8-ounce jars, and a few 4-ounce jelly jars. Originally, I gave the lady $45 for the pint jars and 3 brand new boxes of these ball storage lids. And they had $3 a piece marked on these boxes, which was a little bit high, but they were brand new in the box, so I wasn't mad about it. Like I said, originally I just got the pint jars, and then when I came back in, I noticed that they had a lot more of the 8-ounce jelly and the 4-ounce jelly jars, but I thought the price was a little bit high. So I only had $15 left in cash, and I asked the woman if she would take that and let me have the rest of the jars. And she said yes, since I had already bought everything else without even haggling about the price. She just went ahead and let me have the rest of those jars for $15. So if you take out the fact that I paid $9 for 3 boxes of these storage lids, I ended up paying $51 for jars. And let me tell you what I got. I got 44 pint-sized jars, the regular mouth pints. I got 51 of these half pints, and a lot of them are this fruit design. I got 8 of the squat 8-ounce jars, and then I got 14 of the 4-ounce jelly jars. So doing a little bit of math, I paid $14 for a case of pint-sized jars, and I think I said 13 on the 8-ounce and the 4-ounce jelly jars. Buying that brand new with tax in my area, it would have been just shy of $150. So I got all of these jars for $51. So that means I paid right around 43 cents per jar. Not bad. And if you're new to thrifting, if you're new to canning and trying to buy used jars, I have a little bit of advice for you. First, don't be scared about asking people to come down on their price. A lot of times people, just like this lady that I bought these jars from, not that she didn't know the value of what she had, but she wasn't a canner. Her mother had been a canner, and she didn't want these jars anymore. And I did want these jars. So negotiating a fair price was in both of our benefit. I mean, what's the worst that they can say? No. And then, you either pay what they're asking or you don't. So don't be afraid to ask for a better price. Also, if you're new to canning and you're looking at buying used jars, because you can't always go out and buy brand new jars. It gets very expensive very fast. There are a couple of things that you should look for when you are looking at buying used jars. First thing is, make sure that what you're buying is actually canning jars. People will throw name brand canning jars that are made for canning in with old condiment jars, mayonnaise jars, jelly jars, and that's not to say that those things don't have a purpose and can't be resold. They're great if you're just doing arts and crafts or whatever. But if you're canning, you really want to use jars that are made for canning. Some of those things you can get away with water bath canning, but I wouldn't recommend putting, say, a mayonnaise jar, a repurposed mayonnaise jar, in a pressure canner. Because these jars that are made by Kerr, that are made by Ball, there's a few others, they are made to withstand the heat and the pressure that they go through in the canning process. So that's my number one thing. Make sure if you're looking for canning jars that you're actually getting canning jars. Another thing that you want to look at is the rim of the jar. You want to make sure that your rims don't have nicks or cracks because your jars will not seal if they do. The threads, it would be better if your threads were intact. I have a few that the threads have a little small chip or something, and that's okay. But if it's a big piece of this thread is missing, it keeps your ring from sitting on that jar like it should when you're canning. You also want to kind of hold the jar up to the light if you can and make sure that there are no fractures in the jar. Some people, they use name brand jars for their arts and crafts, and I think that's fine and great, but I'm not buying reused craft jars if I can help it. If it has paint on it, I'm not doing that. You have no idea of knowing how old the paint is, how hard it's going to be to get off, if it has lead in it. So I just stay away from anything that's painted. Also stay away from jars that have unknown substances in it if they are in, say, a shed next to lawn and garden supplies. That could be anything. That could be fertilizer, it could be insecticide, pesticide, and I'd just rather not deal with that. One thing I will say that you see a lot, and I am not concerned with it, that's just a little bit of rust. You will get rust around the threads and this part of the jar from people storing their rings on those jars, and it just rust transfers onto the glass, and it doesn't always come off because glass is porous. So I mean, it's going to have a permanent rust stain, but rust is not harmful. Rust is just iron oxide. So anyway, that is what I wanted to share with you guys, and happy canning.